Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're watching. You know what? I so hope y'all can hear me this time because if you can't, you're just gonna have to read this article. It's your girl Choose, and I am back trying to read an article what I found here. So if you want to read silently by yourself, you can go to my earlier live. If you want me to read it to you, I'm gonna try one more time. That's just what we're gonna do. We're gonna try one more time to get this thing popping. So as I was saying earlier, this comes from the Chicago Sun-Times. Shout out to them, even though you got to pay to get the stuff because I couldn't find anything on Napoleon Harris, which I thought was a little bit strange. But found this in the Chicago Sun-Times back, it was actually just in 2024, June 17th. So it says here State Senator Napoleon Harris chairs insurance committee, invests in insurance brokers. How isn't that a conflict? Napoleon Harris III, chairman of the Illinois State's Insurance Committee for several years, has recently become an quote investor with the insurance brokers in Chicago's southwest suburbs. He denies any conflict of interest. Now, again, that's dated June 17th of 2024. Let's move right along. And the article goes on to say, as chairman of the Illinois State Senate's Insurance Committee, State Senator Napoleon Harris III is a gatekeeper on legislation affecting the multi-million dollar insurance industry. Now, the Flossmoor Democrat, a former NFL player, has joined the industry he's helping to regulate, partnering with two men who run an insurance brokerage called the Max Group in the southwest suburbs. That's what the Chicago Sun-Times has learned. Even though Harris's chairman role CAN, affects industry profits and regulations and consumer pocketbooks, Harris insists there is no conflict of interest in what he calls his new business venture. He goes on to say this was an opportunity to support a local business run by two area guys with long-standing impeccable credentials in the field, Harris said via text message. These are people I've known for years. They've helped me out with my own insurance needs well before I arrived in the Senate. My role is that of an investor. None of this bears any relationship to my work in Springfield. But does it relate to the work in Thornton Township? He goes on to say, if you look at the result, it is clear that the insurance committee has been about improving the industry for consumers. And you see here, this is the recently filed economic interest statement from signed by, I guess, Harris Brothers Group LLC and the Max Group Plus. His panel and the rest of the General Assembly recently backed a series of consumer-friendly industry reforms pushed by Governor J.B. Pritzker, including banning what are called short-term, limited duration health insurance policies, banning those. According to the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, such policies are designed to fill temporary gaps in coverage when an individual is transitioning from one source of coverage to another and are generally not subject to the consumer protections. Democrats in Congress have described these kinds of plans as dangerous and unregulated and a threat to the health and financial well-being of American families. And I, and this is my opinion, we all know opinions are like behinds. Everyone has one. But knowing that I moved my grandmother to live with me and there was a gap in her insurance, I needed that type of insurance to keep my grandmother covered during that couple of months. Actually, it turned into almost uh, a year almost for her to get coverage. So I do say that people need these types of services that where they have gaps in their insurance. But let's go on. Based in Crestwood, the Max Group helps clients procure business, personal, and life insurance and advertises various types of insurance coverage for public agencies, including municipal governments and park districts, agencies that often rely on state legislators for funding. Is that like Dalton? Is that like the township? Is that like the 17 municipalities in there? It goes on to say, like other state officials, Harris must file an economic interest statement each year showing outside income and financial investments. The paperwork he filed in May mentioned for the first time Max Group Plus, which shares the same executive and address with the Max Group. Now, you all can do your um, research on that. I'm just reading an article from the Sun Times. This is the list, friends of Napoleon Harris, and we're just going to go a little further. It says Harris, who joined the General Assembly in 2013 and became Insurance Committee Chairman in 2019, wouldn't answer questions about how he came to be an investor in the company, whether that entailed putting in money and what sort of income he would get from that. Harris has also long derived side income through a company that runs a Beggar's Pizza franchise in Harvey. In 2022 and 2023, Harris's campaign fund accepted contributions from the Max Group, totaling $2,500 according to the Illinois State Board of Elections records. He has also accepted at least $60,000 overall from the insurance industry since the beginning of last year, state election boards records show. That includes $10,000 from Allstate Insurance Company, $7,500 from State Farm Insurance, $6,000 from Cigna, and $1,500 from the political arm of the Illinois Life and Health Insurance Council that have been involved in talks over Pritzker's legislation this year. Wow. John Patterson, that's the guy right there, a spokesperson for the Illinois State Senate, President Don Hardin, good grief, an Oak Park Democrat, says Harris has shown himself to be a knowledgeable, independent voice and has fostered conversations in the insurance committee that have led to pragmatic solutions that work. Okay. It says Harmon has also been the recipient of significant campaign money from the insurance industry, including more than $100,000 combined from Allstate and State Farm, and more than $10,000 from the Illinois Life and Health Insurance Council, with the group helping throw a fundraiser for him in December. Wow. Harris grew up in Dixmoor, attended Thornton Township High School in Harvey, and played football at Northwest University before becoming a linebacker for the Oakland Raiders, Minnesota Vikings, and Kansas City Chiefs. He ran for U.S. Senate unsuccessfully in 2016, losing in the Democratic primary to current U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth. Asked about Harris's insurance committee chairmanship and his insurance broker investments, Pritzker's office would only say that the governor looks forward to this new era of consumer protection, and we will continue working with the General Assembly to deliver even more reform in the future. Well, I don't know if that is such a good thing, because when you say consumer protection, you're talking about the people. I mean, how many times we're gonna protect the people here without asking the people if they want to be protected? Oh, but I think that's the new era. That could be the new era that we're in. I'm hoping not.